Hi everybody. I wanted to give you, I don't know if I want to give you anything, but I want to vlog with you and release some of a little, I can't say it's anger, really. And I'm not pissed off. Of course, I'd rather be pissed on than pissed off, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not really pissed off. I want to talk to you about this magazine. This is the December 3rd issue, 2012, of New Magazine that I was in an article I'm going to show you. This clip is basically, I just want to express to you why I have only believed 95% of what you read. Don't believe everything you read. This is a great article and I can read it to you. There's my picture. And they did some great pictures. There's my mom and my girls. And I mean, the pictures are awesome. And even another whole topic I want to talk to you about is the difference in the American media, my experience in American television experience versus this, you know, the photography. That's another whole clip. But I want to read this to you because, like I said, I will tell you if there's something in this that isn't true right in the moment as I read it, because I don't know that I can include a link to it, and I'll read it as best I can without, you know, without adding a whole lot of emotion or trying to do something. I just want to read this to you because it's actually beautiful. When she read it to me over the phone, after the author of this article, when she was reading it to me, was she asked a lot of questions, and people don't really ask questions. My family doesn't ask questions. I find it odd, but I trust it because this is God's journey, not mine, right? But you guys ask questions, and that's why I love you too. And I love you. Okay. The title of the article is "I'm Addicted to Drinking My Own Wee," which I love it. The "we" word instead of P, not instead of, but in addition to. Okay, when Carrie Steele was diagnosed with stage 3 malignant melanoma cancer in January 2004, she was terrified. Doctors took out 16 of the lymph nodes under her left arm and found cancer in 3 of them. They told her that even with chemotherapy, she'd only have a year to live. Devastated, Carrie trawled the internet to research alternative therapies. She discovered that drinking wheatgrass. I'm going to need to get some water. Oh, sorry, pause. Okay, bear with me. Yeah. Let's see. She discovered that drinking wheatgrass could help, so she began taking 8 shots a day while undergoing chemo. Okay, I never did chemo, not one visit. I did go to see an oncologist. He told me the chemo would not do anything for the melanoma. I took his word for it. I said, well, there must be another way, right? Anyway, but it says in here, okay, so, all right, Her health started to improve, and 2 years later, only microscopic cancer cells were found in her body. But then, in March 2006, Carrie suffered a brain aneurysm. She was living in constant agony. She was living in constant agony until she had a vivid dream in January 2008 in which she was told to drink her own wee. She began drinking 1 glass of urine in the morning, but now, 4 years later, Carrie consumes up to 5 glasses every day. Here, Carrie, 54, tells Colorado in the U.S. and tells New why she now is addicted to drinking her own urine and says she credits it for stopping her cancer. Credits it for stopping her cancer returning. My heart sank as, now this is in quotes, this is as if I said it, okay? My heart sank as the doctor told me that my malignant melanoma cancer had spread to my lymph system. He told me even with chemotherapy, I'd only live another year. It was in January 2004, and I was only 46. I wasn't ready to die. When I arrived home later that day, my 4 daughters huddled around me as I broke the news. I was devastated, but as I held my youngest daughter, Trinity, close, I knew I couldn't give up the fight. She was only 5 at the time, and we did everything together. The thought of her growing up without a mother was unbearable. I decided then that if the doctors couldn't cure me, I was going to go it alone. That evening, I hit the internet and did hours of research into alternative therapies. I started using wheatgrass alongside the chemotherapy, and it helped me. Miraculously, by 2006, I was almost cured, but I started to suffer terrible migraines. They got so bad that my mom, Marilyn, 74, a former nurse, insisted I stay with her so that she could take care of me. Shortly afterwards, I suffered a brain aneurysm. It's a really long story that got condensed into a couple paragraphs. You know? Shortly afterwards, I suffered a brain aneurysm. I was in the hospital for 2 months, and for 2 years after that, I could barely get out of bed. I'd started to feel my luck was running out when in January 2008, I had a vivid dream. It seemed totally bonkers. It did, you know. But in it, now here's another part of that 5%. Someone told me to drink my own wee. It wasn't someone, guys. It was the voice of God, and it wasn't someone. But anyway, you know, we have to interpret it in our own way. Anyway, usually I wouldn't take a dream that seriously, but this one was just so vivid. And then it says research. I started doing more research on the internet. There's something known as urine therapy. The thought of drinking my own pee was gross, but I had nothing to lose. I peed in a glass and gulped down every drop. It was less disgusting than I'd anticipated. It really was. I continued to drink a glass of my own wee every morning and jotted down the results in a diary, and I did. After 30 days, I couldn't believe how much better I felt. I noticed An increase in energy, and my joints and muscles started to feel stronger. By this point, I was drinking my urine about 4 times a day. Soon, my daughters and mom started to notice the difference in me, and I was too mortified to admit what I was doing. Okay, I told them right from the get-go, guys, because I wanted them to watch me to be sure that I wasn't hurting myself. I told them right from the get-go. So I carried on drinking my wee in secret until one day when I was just about to take a sip of pee, Trinity caught me doing it. Now, I told my older 3 daughters because they were adults, and it's not like I hid it from Trin. I prayed about it, And I was like, if she is supposed to know God, let it be. And she caught me doing it. And I knew that I couldn't keep it a secret after that. It was time to tell the rest of my family. The following day, I called a meeting around the dining room table. I started drinking my own pee, I announced as Mom and my daughters began to gag with disgust. Well, if you put time into a whole moment, it was kind of like that, yeah. Despite their reaction, it was such a relief to finally get it off my chest. Okay? I already had it on my chest. Anyway, I was no longer ashamed. I never have been ashamed, okay? Just FYI. Okay. In fact, soon I was trying to encourage all the family to get involved. And of course I've always done that, and I've quit doing it. Of course. You'll learn. You just shut up and let them watch, Okay. A few weeks later, when Trinity caught a cold, I taught her how to catch her pee in a glass midstream, and then I mixed a couple of drops into her juice. Then one day, my grandson, Calvin, then 4, handed me a plastic cup. It wasn't plastic. It was ceramic. It was a grandma cup that she made out of pottery, my mom. Okay. Drink it, Grandma, he said. My resolve was tested to its limit, and I started down. And as I started down the yellow brick road, let me read the whole paragraph again. My resolve was tested to its limits, and as I stared down at the bright yellow liquid, I had a moment of weakness. Could I really bring myself to drink another person's wee? That's true. I was tested in that moment. After a few moments of deliberation, I realized there's only one thing to do. I bit the bullet and I gulped it down, and that I did, honest to God. Okay? By early this year, 3 separate doctors said I was cancer-free. I believe the urine helped. I really believe it helped me. The more I read about urine therapy, the more I realized it was more than just a healthy drink. The natural minerals in wee could be used for cosmetic purposes too. So when I ran out of my favorite moisturizer, actually, I've used it for moisturizer from the get-go, I decided I'd have nothing to lose by smoothing some wee over my skin. Soon, I was using my wee to brush my teeth, adding it to my bath water, and running it through my hair for extra shine. That's absolute truth. But it wasn't all good. I lost a few friends over my habit. You don't lose friends. You see them in the river maybe later. I can't blame them entirely. There have been times when I didn't smell great, especially when I started to use urine as body lotion. Okay, it's mixed on that. Even my family began to make cruel remarks telling me I smelled like an outhouse or a homeless person. It's true, that was in the first 6 months. But I shrugged it off, and I thought it was sad and realized that some people would simply never be able to accept my urine habit. And that is the truth. I'm kind of ruining this magazine. So whenever I wanted support or share tips about urine therapy, I used the internet. I started my own YouTube channel, a place where I could talk openly about it. About 99% of the comments I received were negative. I wouldn't say 99, but yeah, I think I told her that. I couldn't understand why people would ask me to stop doing something that's saving my life. That's the truth right there. Then, some months later, I received a phone call from the producer of a hit U.S. television program, My Strange Addiction. He asked me to take part in the series. Despite the negativity I'd received, I seized the opportunity to finally tell the world of my story. I prayed about it, I just, God, really? Really? Okay. That's how it was, really, to tell you the truth. During the show, a doctor warned me that urine contains toxic waste and that my levels of urea were disproportionately high. I vowed to stop drinking it for 4 months. What? What? I never once ever vowed to stop drinking my urine. I gotta tell you, I'm not sure why they would print that. Okay. Anyway, after that, but the pain and headaches returned. Okay, I cut it down to 1 dose a day for 4 months. I didn't stop, and that was not good, and not everything, but I did start to get symptoms back. Gotta tell you. So then it says, I plan on drinking urine for the rest of my life. I know people say I'm addicted, but I'm terrified that if I give up, I will die. And I'm not terrified of death. I won't give it up because I love life, okay? It has nothing to do with death. And I simply can't cope with living with the pain, and that's true, on a daily basis. And it's gone. And I love that. I love it. I'll do anything for that. As for my romantic life, I'm currently single. But if I had to choose between urine therapy and a man, I'd choose my wee every time. Oh, well, I don't look at marriage and relationships the same as most people do. 99.5%. I'm not alone. I don't live alone. I love people. I have lots of beautiful people. And I may not be married, but that isn't beside the point, isn't it? Anyway, hey, thanks for listening. I know this was incredibly long. I love you guys. I really do.